Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
Okay, Talk and Power podcast episode 111. We're rocketing right along here. We've got a special guest here in the studio, along with my co-host, Todd Brinkworth. We've got Simon Gonzo Travellini over there. We've got with us Johnny Ielati. Johnny, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Now, we've spoken numerous times in the past, but we've done short little episodes when you've done your morning tea. So we thought we'd get you along to do a bit of a in-depth, I guess, chat with you about what you're doing these days, where you've come from, and just a bit about you. So, look, thanks for joining us in the studio. I think your timing's impeccable as well. We'll talk about MotoGP a bit later on, but Jack Miller winning his second race, you know, right?
Another thriller from Miller.
Yeah. Yep. But we'll chat about that a bit later on. So
2 from 2.
And we've got the cannolis here as well tonight. Just wanted to mention that. So for those that are listening, you're missing out. You can't see. I wonder. Yeah, you can see them in the video, those cannolis. They're magnificent. So, and the reason why I got them, I know your father, big fan of the cannolis.
Yeah, he'll be jealous. He'll definitely be jealous of those.
Who's not a fan of the cannolis?
No, but we have to paint a picture here. All right, sorry, a bit of poetic license here. Tell the story about your dad. He at the last fundraiser you did, I think you had some cannolis left over, and you said, "Dad, take these to," because your dad was going straight to the farm, straight after the fundraiser, and you gave him a whole tray of cannolis, and I think he finished them before he even hit you shake.
Yeah, before he even got to the car, I reckon.
So I know your dad, Giovanni's a great fan of the cannolis, so I thought, that'll be good. We had them when Richie was in as well, remember?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool. Johnny, tell us, great to have you here on the podcast. For those listeners out there, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so obviously married, 2 kids, my daughter Valentina and Johnny, my wife Angela. Obviously we're running the Benzene Detailing down in Mangara, which is my pride and joy and my passion. So, and obviously we... being a cancer survivor, we sort of integrate our business with some charity events as well.
Yep, and it's a great charity event that you do. That's why we got you in tonight, to have a bit of a chat about that, and we'll discuss that a little bit later on. But tell us, you and I have been hanging out for the same group of guys, visiting the same car shows for a long, long time. Tell us the passion for cars. Where did that all get started from?
Yeah, well, you mentioned my dad before, and obviously that's definitely where it stems from. I don't think I had a choice in the matter. I was always going to be a car guy. I came home from birth, I think, in a XA Falcon. So yeah, it was pretty much in my blood. Straight out of the hospital. So yeah, it's definitely from Dad, the passion, and it's just grown obviously from there. My uncles, obviously, my cousin. Once you start, it oozes out to the rest of the family. It's just ingrained in you from birth, basically. Well, in me anyway.
Yeah. I know it seems to be you do drag the rest of the family, and your family is engaged with the motoring scene as well. You get a lot of guys that are into their cars, but their family doesn't seem to come along for the ride. But yours certainly does, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's funny because when I was younger, and Dad obviously had the XY. I was always, Dad, can we take the XY? Dad, can we take the XY? And it was like, nah. It was back then you needed to see if a petrol station was open, you know what I mean? You can get fuel on Saturdays or Sundays, so it was always hard. Now it's like, he's in that every single day, he's with it, and he drives his cars like at any given opportunity. So, it's just... We just love it. It's just a passion. It's a social thing. We enjoy it.
I wonder how many people actually remember the old roster system.
Yeah, it was a roster. Yeah,
I do.
I used to get the Sunday Times as a kid, and you said, "Dad, this one's on roster today. Can we take the car?"
Remember Vince Band down in Guelph there. He copped it a bit. You'd get it about once a month of Inspan down there. So
I remember many a time where I'd go, okay, we've got to go here, and it'll tell you that the next service station, wherever you get there, and they're shut, and you're going, oh God. Going to be pushing the cart. Luckily, it was the beach buggy, so it wasn't too heavy.
But just explain to our listeners then, the roster system it was literally a roster. The petrol stations took turns in being open on a Sunday and Saturday afternoon as well, I think.
Yeah. I'm young enough to remember, or old enough, whichever way we put it.
Well, there was no such thing as a 24-hour. You'd have to go to a roadhouse back in those days. And even then, I'm not sure in WA. I think the first time I encountered a 24-hour service station was in New South Wales. So, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know. I kind of preferred it, to be honest with you.
I know, the petrol stations have become supermarkets now, haven't they?
Yeah. Do you remember you could buy fan belts and, hose clamps and...
You can forget that now in any petrol station. Petrol's about the extent of it. But Johnny, getting back to what we were talking about, back in those days, we were hanging out in the Motivation or Auto X.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about those days. I mean, we used to hang out in the same group of guys, always at these car shows. Tell us a bit about those days.
Yeah, those days were cool. I think we grew up, that era was sort of the last era where you could actually go do stuff that's probably frowned upon these days. Not that we were doing bad stuff, but like chewing with McDonald's, Thursday night, that was just that was it. That was it was just you'd come home from work, you'd polish the car, and you'd go there, and then maybe
go wife shopping. I believe
you'd probably. You'd probably do some spirited driving around Malaga or Rangara somewhere, but I don't know if you can say that or not, but I don't think those sort of things you don't see these days, and it's we were the sort of last generation to you'd sort of see that and do that,
Yeah.
So,
speaking of that, I don't recall any of us getting hurt from any of those shenanigans, shall we say?
No, it was all good fun. I remember, we talked to Paolucci as well about the McDonald's days and McDonald's in Chua Hill days, and they were great memories.
It's extended obviously down to I met my wife at Chua Hill Macca's.
There you go. See.
So, and then later at Lansdale they opened up the Lansdale one, and then that became the next spot. And then it sort of, I don't know, we just got older, or just sort of fizzled out from there.
I'm a little bit older than you guys. It was Kings Park for me.
Yeah.
The WOG wall. Not going to say it because it's politically incorrect.
Well, speaking of politically incorrect, remember Atwell Road in Wangara?
Yeah.
That was huge.
Well,
politically incorrect.
Where the workshop is now is basically where we used to park, just around on Badgerup Road, and that it was like.
Is there still rubber on the ground?
There is, but it's from dunes.
But back in the day, that's what we did. Atwell Road was closed, and I remember one night I was there. And the police came and sealed the road, and we had to go through the police to get out of there. And they just said, they were stickering a handful of cars, but it was all, no one went to jail. No one, I don't even think, there might have been a handful of yellows issued, but there was no one lost their cars, you know what I mean? It was...
We didn't have hoon laws.
No, there was no hoon laws. So it was a handful of yellow stickers, and they said, "Don't come back here, guys, please. We don't want to see you here anymore." And
did you ask them where they wanted you to go instead?
You're there next week anyway.
Got any suggestions, officer? Or is there?
They used to. I don't know if you remember. We used to camp as well at the front of Barbagallo. Down the bottom there. They used to just carve it up basically while we're camping on the side of the road.
We were talking about this the other day.
It was a couple of episodes ago we were talking about it. I'll never forget camping out on Wattle Ave.
On the side of the road,
the side of the road. It used to be the best time, and there used to be people laying. So you just park off to the side on the verge, and there used to be people laying strips right past you. You're like, you'd be trying to sleep.
Anyone die, Nick?
No. No, it was all good fun. And that's, shout out to the Wanneroo Shire. But but it was great fun. You mentioned to me, actually, you mentioned I think we caught up at a number of car shows, and we remember the Auto Expo.
Yep.
And we talked about this car here. And
Correct.
I dug up an old photo. I took that
that's it.
photo.
I reckon I've got something similar at home. Yeah, that's when you say Auto Expo. That's what springs to mind. That car, but mainly just every year. I mean, being Ford fanatic, I always want to see what the latest model, what it looked like. Always had wheels magazines, motor magazines, and I just when you used to see it advertised in the paper, you couldn't wait to go there.
So for those watching the YouTube video, on the screen you'll see it's called the 351 GT. That was the EA. That was prior to the EB GT.
That was a concept car, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's at the Ford Museum in
okay.
Victoria at the moment, I think.
Yep. And for those looking at the video, there's a guy. Look at that. Look at that guy with the perm there.
Yeah.
Magnificent mullet, that right there.
And hang on, it's in the Birdswood Dome.
Yeah, that's in the Birdswood Dome.
No longer exists.
Yeah, no longer.
Yeah, it's a car park now.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't fit enough gamblers in there.
I was part of the survey team that knocked down the Birdswood Dome. It was actually, I found it a bit sad. That's just me. Anyway, that's another story for another day.
It is a story for another day. Hey, you know what? We need to take a short break here. I'm going to take a short break and we'll be back with more from Johnny Ielati right after this. All right, episode 111 of the Talk and Power podcast. I'm Nick DeChimbra. You can catch us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and on 88.5 FM where the Valley comes alive. And our website as well, www.talkingpower.com.au. I'm joined with Johnny Ielati and our co-hosts Todd Brinkworth and Simon Gonzo Travellini. Great to have you guys here for this episode. So Johnny, moving along, at 16, you get yourself an XY. I don't think I ever saw it in the flesh back then, but it was blue. I think I seem to remember it in some forums.
It was Starlight Blue, XW Fairmont, yeah.
Yeah, because you posted a whole
XW, Nick, not XY, XW.
Yeah, did I say XY?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
That's like blasphemy to us.
I've got to read it
guys.
as well. Especially coming from one that an owner of one.
I know.
Sorry about that. So that's right. So I remember you posted a heap of photos of the build, the original build, on a forum.
Yeah, we were on forums were big back then. So I did post most of the build pics. Probably, towards the end, it probably wasn't that many, but yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So talk us through the process of that particular car anyway.
Yeah, so obviously Dad, we'd been looking for a year for the, license coming up. Dad's looking, I don't even remember thinking about buying anything else. Like it was just always going to be that car. I honestly can't remember, we're saying, we'll get something this. No, it was just XW, XY. And we had looked at a few, and we actually looked at a nice XY, the bronze wine colour, 12 slots lowered, and it was the guy wanted 7.5, and I said, Dad, I want this car, and he goes, nah. I said, but it's done. It's like, nah, it's too much. It wants too much. I said, man, it's done. Like we had an argument, said, we've got to miss out. We've been looking for a year. We haven't found nothing. And then obviously Sunday morning, Reader's Market comes out. We've got to bang on the door, like early, like 5, 6 in the morning. Do you want a car? Yeah, I want a car. All right, get out of bed. So okay. We end up going to Stoneville, like Stoneville, Parkerville in the hills there. And I'll never forget driving up the driveway, a gravel road driveway, and then you just see this guy's pulled this blue XW out. And he's just driving it out, and I knew straight away. I said, "Yeah, we're bringing this car home," So it was 5.5, and we got it for 5, and it was stock XW 221 3-speed auto, had the parchment interior. Obviously had stone chips and that from being up in the hills and that, but it was immaculate. Had all the chrome trim, had everything. It was the starfish hubcaps, it's full grandpa spec. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
It's funny hearing you tell that story because I remember at Servite around 15, 16 years old, Paul Kunzich, exactly the same. They searched and searched and searched until they found the car. And they actually started with basically a bare shell, and then stripped it and went from there.
Yeah.
Went through the whole process, and that was it. There was no other car.
Yeah,
it was going to be.
It was going to be an XW or obviously an XY. And at the time, because Dad had the XY, I was always sort of a bit of an XY sort of guy, But you knew it didn't matter. Like one or the other was going to be okay. So yeah. And that's So that's buying the car. Yeah.
That's back in those days, but that is a lot of money. We're talking 1996.
That was 96, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it was literally like a month after my birthday. So I think you used to be able to get your license on your birthday, and we found it literally 1 month after, I think.
Yeah, okay.
That was starting to get rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, nowadays you're paying $20,000 to $30,000 for something that
you bring home in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, pretty much is a gutted out shell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even for 1996, that's good coin for. But it was a beautiful car.
It was a plum. Yeah, it was like you couldn't. Compared to the one we looked at for 7.5, it was definitely a better car. And he said, "See, I told you, just have to wait."
Well, talking of your dad, then tell us his influence and your Uncle Tony's influence then in that scene as well. Tell us a bit about your dad's cars and your Uncle Tony's cars.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Uncle Tony's a panel beater. So Uncle Tony panel beated Dad's XY, the white one, because where he was working in Bayswater, and they sprayed it. They sprayed the car there. Uncle Tony's apprentice or someone in the shop there painted it. So he's always been around. He's always been doing those things, and because he's always done those cars for Dad and helped him out. I think he's had a couple of he had some Land Cruisers with 302s in them and stuff like that back in the day. He's always wanted to do his own thing, and then obviously he did the Mustang a few years ago. So that was his, payment to himself. He goes, "I'm going to do my own car now. I've been working on everyone else's, but yeah."
Yep. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
You certainly do.
And Uncle Tony did all the panel beating the first time on the XW. He actually did it in Mum and Dad's shed in Barangaroo in the backyard. Yeah, he did it for me. He goes, "I don't want to do it." He goes, "I'm not going to do it, but I'll do it for you." And I said, "All right." So it was,
Yep. So that was the first incarnation.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk about the second rebuild a bit later on. Anyway. So we'll fast forward 10 years. We get to 2006. You just got married to the lovely Angela, your wife. The XW it's pretty close to being finished in its first build, and you're working for one of the Perth's leading furniture manufacturers as well in Jamel. Mm-hmm. Great company. Talk us through what you first thought was an ulcer in your mouth.
Yeah, I guess it's just like anything. You get a bit of pain. Everyone knows what an ulcer feels like. I had it on the side of my tongue, and I've got 2 teeth missing. I'm a Collingwood supporter, mind you, so yeah, I've got a few teeth missing.
But they're not front ones.
No, I'm the bit higher up. I've got the back ones missing. So
you're the Eddie Maguire sort of.
Yeah. So and what it was rubbing on those where the gap was with the tooth, and I thought, it must just give me pain. I'm getting pain. Take Panadol, do all that sort of stuff. Then the pain was coming from underneath, and I was like, yeah, it's not right. Go to the doctors, and they said, yeah, it could be just an ulcer, but we'll book you in to a specialist to see. But that was when you go to a specialist, it's a 3 month wait. So okay, no problem, 3 months, deal with it. And then I said to my wife, something's not right. It's really painful. So I went back to the doctor, and she sent me to the orthodontist or a dentist, and said, can you have a look? It might be a cyst or something. And he fast tracked the specialist. So obviously he saw something that didn't look right, and he goes, it could be nothing, but we just want to make sure. And we went to the we got into the specialist a lot earlier, and he said, look, we can do a biopsy in the chair, or we can go into hospital. I said, no, I'd rather just get it done properly. Let's go into hospital. And we did a biopsy, so pretty much they cut like all the side of that tongue where the ulcer was, and obviously sent it off for testing. And a week later we went back in there, and he goes, you basically just said, yeah, sit down, and he goes, yep, you just said, yeah, it's cancer. So.
Yeah. So, correct me if I get this wrong or if I say it wrong, so I'm just going to read it out. So the official diagnosis is stage 3 squamous cell carcinoma. Is that right?
Carcinoma, yeah.
Carcinoma,
I think that's how you say it.
yeah.
I can't say it, but yeah, I think it's pretty much how you say it.
You said it very well, in the oral cavity.
Yeah.
You refer to it, from that point onwards, you refer to it as a race. So tell us that analogy.
Yeah, obviously I wrote that. I wrote something for the cancer support a few years ago, and they tried to say, tell your story, and I love cars. I love motorsport. So I look at using that as an angle to deal with anything, just life. And in this case, it was a pretty big deal. Something to deal with, and it's just the way I used it to cope. So, you guys have raced cars before. Even if you're just racing a go-kart around the track, when you put that helmet on, you're so focused. Like there's nothing around you. Like eyes are on that task, and you're just concentrating, and you're just so focused on just beating, obviously winning, or in this case beating something. That's how I used it. Like every lap is just another lap, another day, another hour, another minute, another appointment, another operation. Because even though that we had one operation, it was like you had 4 operations before I had the big operation. And then you've got all the stuff that comes after it as well. So the pit stops, your tyre changes, and I just looked at it like that, and just keep belting out the laps until we get to the end.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. We had Andy and her husband Mick sit right there where you are 6 months ago, not even. And she used, I've read her book, the Don't Wait for the Grand Light, but she used a very similar analogy. So she was building her Tirana, and through her cancer battle, she always pictured herself getting back in that Tirana, pre-stage, staging it, and going down the track. That was her method of seeing her through the cancer battle.
Yeah, she would come to work and sit in the car.
Yeah,
and it was I don't know. It was difficult having been
to see it.
Yeah, because of my mum, my uncle, my cousin.
Yeah.
You've been there, you know what it's like. But I could understand why she was doing it, because that's what was keeping her going.
I know, I say it's hard for me, but it's hard to witness people doing it. Like that's even harder, because I know what the problem is. I know what I need to do to fix it. They don't know. You don't know what I'm doing to go through it.
And the reality
and
is,
you're like, everyone's obviously worried for you for that reason, and I'm like, don't worry.
The reality is this too. For yourself, you're always going to try and have the mindset that I'm going to beat this. It's 100%. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But for everyone else, the reality is it's 50-50.
Yeah.
It could go either way.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, if you've lost people in the past, it is a painful. But I understood why she was doing it, because that was what gave her focus. It was a distraction that gave her focus.
Yeah. If you don't mind, we'll stop for a short break here, and we'll be back with more from Johnny right after this. Okay, episode 111 of the Talk and Power podcast, and we're joined with Johnny Ielati in the podcast studio here on 88.5 FM and on podcasting on Stitcher, SoundCloud, and wherever you get your podcasts from. Johnny, just gone into detail about the prognosis. Can you walk us through this this procedure. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. All right. So obviously they're cutting a tumour out, which I think was, I don't know if you can see that, like around, probably that big, I'd say. That's in the bottom of my sort of floor of the tongue. So basically, to get in there, they had to split the jaw open. So from here to my ear, so they open you up. So you've got to open up to obviously get in there. And before they even do that, obviously they know that there's going to be swelling and you're not going to be able to eat and breathe through your mouth. So the week before, they punched a hole in your stomach for a feeding tube. So basically, I could syringe the food through my stomach after the operation, and then obviously they did the hole in the neck for the trachea, so I can breathe. Obviously in ICU. So so they open you up, obviously cut the tumour out, and then they need to refabricate my tongue, probably about a third of it, I'd say, a third to a half. So to do that, they I don't know if you can see that, they cut the skin from my forearm and the tissue and the artery from my elbow to the wrist, because then they're going to replace that in there. So they basically built the tongue from my forearm skin and the tissue, and obviously that they cut a main artery when they go through there, and then they replace that in there, and then they graft the skin from my leg to my arm to replace the skin on my forearm. And obviously they staple that all in there. You've got to go in a cast. So the arm's in a cast, the legs all obviously bandaged up, and then your face is, so when I think I was in ICU for about 3 days, just breathing out of the tube in my neck, and obviously they're just feeding me through the feeding tube. The hardest thing, I guess, was, and my wife will tell you she hated seeing it, is obviously vacuuming. You probably, when you seen Nicky Lauda get his lungs vacuumed in Rush. They used to shove a tube down the trachea to vacuum out, and that was quite painful. And not on. I didn't get to see it, but everyone else did. But it wasn't a good sight.
That's a pretty extensive operation.
Yeah, I think it was 10 hours. That operation was about 10 hours, I think.
Yeah. So after the op, tell us, because the battle, a lot of people probably incorrectly think that if the operation's successful, the battle's done. But it's really you're only really halfway through it, aren't you? Or
that's the majority of it. But obviously they want to do the radiotherapy to try and to clean up, if they've missed any those small spots, So I think it was radiotherapy for about 6 weeks. They for that, because obviously mine was in my face or my head, they tattoo 3 spots, one in the forehead, I think on the sides, and basically they got a mould of my face which looked like a pasta strainer, looked like, it was just like, instead of round, it was just like the shape of my face, pasta strainer, and they used to lay me on a metal table, and they used to bolt my head to the table with that, so the strainer on my head, and they used to clip me in, and they'd line me up with a tattoo, so they'd obviously, radiotherapy the same spot every single time. So basically like microwaving the insides of my jaw area in here. And that's why you can see my hair doesn't grow the same on the side of the face, and it's got a patch there because obviously it kills all those, kills everything. Yeah, so the whole idea is to kill all the leftover if there is any in that area.
It's quite an incredible a passage that you've gone through, I never realised until I knew you at the time, but I didn't realise how in depth this really was for you and what sort of battle it was. You mentioned in July of 2011, the final scan, I'm going to quote you here. In July of 2011, the final scan came back, all clear. I declared myself the winner, and that's what my photo represents. But it's something that couldn't have been done without my support crew. I was merely the driver. Tell us a bit about this amazing support crew. I know you've spoken a bit about your wife, Angela, but just go on and tell us a bit about it.
Look, I mean, we're wogs, we're Italians. Support crew is like, thick and thin. So as soon as everyone heard, there was an influx of help from around everywhere. Obviously the immediate family, brothers, sisters, cousins, all that sort of stuff, aunties, uncles, and obviously my wife and with some really good friends. It's just used to bring stuff they used to cook and bring my wife's stuff because Anne stayed in the hospital, so she so they used to bring dinner and all that sort of stuff. But it's basically like a support crew for a race team. They do everything so the driver can just concentrate on his job, basically, and that's what it was like. They did everything, so I didn't have to worry about anything else other than what was in front of me. So,
I do know you've got a very tight family. I know your family reasonably well, and I know your cousin as well, Perry, top bloke, and you and a number of your family. So I know it's just I know it's a big support crew, and it's all helped. When the bigger the family, I think the better, and big network of friends as well certainly helps, doesn't it?
Yep.
I think we'll take a short break here. I know we just had one before, but I'm just looking at the time. We'll take a short break here, and when we get back, we'll talk a bit about being in the all clear. You've won the race, but we'll talk about what you're doing these days, and and a bit about your charity event that you put on every year. So we'll take a short break here, and we'll be back with more right after this. Okay, episode 111 of the Talk and Power podcast. We're here with Johnny Ielati, Todd Brinkworth and Simon Gonzo Travellini on 88.5 FM and podcasting through iTunes, Stitcher and our website www.talkandpower.com.au. Amazing story you're telling us, Johnny, here tonight. So, your race against cancer, you've won the race, you've got the all clear, the XW's finished. You have two beautiful children, Johnny and Valentina. I've got to be honest with you, because you were pretty high up at your job where you were at Jamel's there, and they're a leading edge furniture manufacturer in Western Australia. What was the desire to leave that job and start Elite Muscle Cars and also Benzene Detailing?
I guess once sort of a year or two after the cancer stuff sort of settled down, I sort of got my making a family, and you just want to get back to like a normal-ish sort of life. So you're not worried about taking risks or doing stupid things. So it was just for me. It was I worked at a very good place, at Jamel. They paid my wage while I was sick, so I was away for a good 3 to 4 months, and they paid, my wage. So I loved them. I loved the guys there, and I just, I was just happy. I just wanted to pay the bills, basically. I just wanted to have sort of a bit of normality, you know what I mean, because of just for what we ran through. But then you start thinking, I ended up being the operations manager for the international division, which I started doing a lot of stuff with logistics and importing from China. I was flying to China every 6 weeks, so I was getting used to travel and obviously importing a lot of the furniture side. And then I thought, the US dollar at the time was really, really good. We obviously were playing with the US dollar, buying furniture from overseas. And I thought it'd probably be a good idea to start bringing in some cars, dollar for dollar. And, back then a lot of people were bringing in Mustangs and Camaros and stuff like that. So that's not a bad idea. Maybe I could. It's sort of what it's something that I want to do. As in on the side. And then I thought I can probably make I could probably make a job of this. If I can get it right, then I'll I can make some money. So.
You were pretty motivated at the time. I remember you, and you still are, sorry, but I remember at the time you came and saw me actually, and you said, "This is what I'm thinking of doing. This is what we're going to do." And not long after, you had the first. It was the Camaro you got. Yeah, that was your first one.
But the things are, when I do something, like I go straight to the top. Like I don't stuff around with like a $20,000 Camaro. I went and got the first one I bought was actually a feature car on Meekum car auctions. It was a 69 RSSS, a big block car. Is orange with the white stripes. So it was a plum car. Like, it took me a while to find it, but it was a beautiful car. So, and then I brought that in, and then I thought, what? I always go backwards. So then I've done something, that's top dollar. Maybe just look at something that's more appealing to someone every guy can afford. And then we did the C10.
The C10, yeah.
Yeah, which is a brilliant car. It was a cheap car, and it was a good car to do. And then when I was buying them, because obviously we had these connections with logistics and stuff like that, I loaded them up with everything. So the wheels, the suspension, and everything. Because the price over there for parts and you can buy everything off the shelf for all those cars there. So. And that's when I started to feel like, I could probably do it ongoing. Yeah. And then obviously I started Elite Muscle Cars, and the Camaro was the showpiece for that business. But in the meantime, I was still doing some. I went back to plastering for a bit just to keep the money ticking over. And then obviously we bought the workshop. So there was a transition period from Jamel to going to full-blown, muscle car detailing. But at the same time, the trends were changing. The dollar was, we're losing that, that 1-for-1. And I was thinking, okay, so having the experience in the industry I was in, I was always looking forward, because I knew nothing lasts forever. So I thought, okay. And at that time, we already done 2 Camaros and I think 2 C10s. And I thought that, and I was looking for the next car, and I was trying to get a 56 pickup or something like that, and I just couldn't make they were getting more expensive to buy, and obviously the dollar was hurting us. So I decided to buy an Australian car, and I bought the Prem. So that's when I bought the HT, the Premier, and I bought that from South Australia. That's when you could afford to buy those cars, And I thought, okay, we'll sort of divert into the restoration. And I always had the detailing side sort of like tagged along in the business, as long as the wheels, because we were doing the wheels and the tyres as well. Out of Billet Specialties, we were Billet Specialties distributor. So that added to the business. Yep. And then we obviously were doing the detailing. Then we brought in the detailing side. And I did a few courses just to, up my skills and stuff like that. And the rest is history. It took off. The detailing side took. I didn't even get to finish the Prem in a reasonable time. Like it just ended up going on, and I just was focusing on the detailing.
Yeah. So I mean that's the important thing to mention here. I know you transitioned into detailing, but you made that you pretty the top end of detailing in Western Australia, I must say. So I mean, was that was always going to be your focus, wasn't it? Like to be the sort of the top end of.
Yeah, well, like I said before, even when we started the Elite Muscle Cars, it was always based on prestige and the eliteness of the industry. And the detailing side wasn't going to be any different. So obviously we went to Swiss Wax, and they're one of the biggest brands in the world, and it's a top tier brand, and we did their training course.
You've introduced me to the guy from there. He's like
Yeah,
a gentleman,
Terry, yeah,
actually.
he's a good guy.
Nice guy.
And so again, that's we went straight to the top, and just went from there.
Yeah. No. So tell us a few of the cars that you have detailed. Just I'll name drop for you if you're not. You probably don't want to. I know Happy. You've done the HQ, the 1-tonner. You've done that a few times, I would say. Ralph Italiano, his Juice. I know you've done that. So Motivation Grand Champion. Ralph.
Yep.
Street Machine Grand Champion.
Yep.
Happy. You did a bit of work on Chris Bitmead's ex-boss as well.
Yep. We got to work on Chris's car. No, so we supplied some stuff for Chris's car before he went to America, and then we were fortunate enough to help him when he got back here and did the Australian tour.
Yeah, so you were with him in
I think
Motorex
I did
as
about
well?
4 out of the 6 shows in
wow.
Australia. Yeah, so
Wow,
we did,
okay.
I think I did 3 Motorexes, Adelaide. I didn't go to Queensland, so I did about 4 shows.
Yeah.
I missed 1 or 2, I think.
What's it like working with those guys? I mean, we've had Happy.
It's just like working with these guys.
Yeah, okay.
They're all the same. They're funny. They're just funny guys.
Happy is definitely interesting character.
Yeah. Happy you're talking about?
Yeah, Happy.
Happy's, we call him last minute. Everything's last minute. I think I worked
as his transmission builder, I can vouch for that.
I think I worked on Happy's car, no word of a lie, on Christmas Day 1 year.
Yep.
And I think it was the year he won.
Oh, come on, Johnny! Come on, mate.
Mate, he put the tray on that.
There's going to be a Christmas next year.
There's always Christmas.
There's always Christmas, one every year.
Yeah. They painted I think the second year they actually, the car came with no tray on the back. They actually put the tray on as they were driving back to Canberra.
They were probably bolting it on while they were on the back of the trailer.
Well, speaking of shows, I want to step forward here to 2016, and you kept this one under wraps pretty well, I must say. I'm going to paint the picture here. So I'll never forget seeing you at the 2016 Street Machine and Hot Rod Spectacular, and I've written here in the notes, wow, you debuted the second rebuild, and in many ways, I felt it was, without insulting your first build, I think the second build was even better than the first.
That was the intention.
But that's not to take away from the first build, but the second build was amazing. So it was a new Windsor combo. It's back to an auto. You've touched up the paint, interior tweaks. Anyway, look, I'll let you go on into what you actually did there, but that also coincided with your 10 years since you were diagnosed with a cancer.
Yeah, that's right.
So talk us through that and how important this rebuild was.
Yeah, well, obviously the first build it wasn't that I rushed the first build. It was more like, let's just finish the car because we don't know what was going to be around the corner. Like, even though we had the operation, we didn't know whether it was going to come back or whatever. Let's just finish it, whatever. And at the time, 18-inch billets and were the things back then. So, and the car was probably good for that year. But with the business starting to attract those sort of style cars, I thought it was important to have something to display for myself as well.
Yep.
And what had happened at home was one of the fluoros actually dropped onto the bonnet of the car. So that's what stemmed another 3-year build because of a small little dent and chip in the bonnet, and we took that off. We was just meant to paint the bonnet, and we ended up smooth. But to be honest, what really triggered it for me, I went to help Ralph at Motivation this 1 year, I think, and it was one of the better years, and I thought I've got to do something. I've got to do something like sort of fast, So. And then when I went back after literally the Monday, I changed everything. Like that's when we decided to smooth the bay. That's when I decided to do the reverse cowl. For whatever reason, the right hand passenger door always seemed like it was a different colour. I don't know how or why, because it got painted at the same. I don't know if it was just the way it used to be angled, but so we repainted the whole front end, the whole right hand side of the car, and obviously we're doing the billet specialty wheel still. So we thought, and I thought I've got to try and stick a 10-inch under the rear. Gons probably knows it's not probably easy on those cars.
No, it's not. It's definitely not.
And get it to sit right. So, and not many people were doing, when I did that, you used to see that look in America, but not so much here. Now everyone does it. But the 17-inch with the front, with the 15-inch beadlock rear wasn't really being done. And obviously, then the engine, full rebuild to change it back to the alloy, to Windsor heads, alloy heads, C4, and we just changed the ratios in the rear, I think, and then we redid the dash. And then obviously being a detailer, I didn't want all the chrome and stuff in the engine bay, so we went to all the black, which is in style.
Yep.
And the billet stuff, yeah.
I bought that Street Machine magazine for that car. That was, to me, it was a groundbreaking car at the time. It was, we had done summer nats around that time, and the GT thing had been done, and to see a car that was not pretending to be something that it wasn't, and the white interior was just unbelievable. I must have read that article about 5 million times.
The other thing as well, not just the white interior, but you made a pretty drastic change to convention with the wrap in the second rebuild. The wrap on the roof.
That was very last minute. I had the car. I because I didn't have the chrome mouldings the first build, so I had to go and buy them because I damaged them all the last one. So I had to go back and buy all the chrome mouldings for the doors, and then I just pulled it out. And something's not right. Like it's just the colour. I don't know if the colour just seemed too overpowering or something.
Yeah.
And I've always liked the white vinyl roof. I thought I'm just going to wrap it. If it doesn't look good, I'll just pull it off. And I stole Mr. Troy Carbone's side mouldings there for the rear pillar, and we didn't put the holes in them. So if I want to take it off, I can take the wrap off, and it'll just be the colour under the car. And yeah, we went for initially it was going to be gloss, and then last second I said, "Can you change it to the satin?"
You giving them back to Troy?
No.
Nah, never.
So he's going to use that as an excuse, you know. That's why I can't finish his now.
Yeah. Might have to polish one of the doors on his XW when it's finished.
Hello to Troy. I'm sure he's listening. Hey, so, I mean, that was ground. I'll never forget seeing the car, and as I said, you kept that pretty much under wraps, the second rebuild, and the wrap really set it off for me as well. I love it. I remember seeing it there, and you did reasonably well out of that show. Yeah,
like you said before, it coincided with the 10 years. It's just the way it happened. Like with any build, you go, don't rush it, but it's always good to have an end to the build, like to whatever you're doing, and we made that the end date. So to have it on display, being the 10 years, and then obviously having Chris's car next to it as well. After we just spent some time with him and that, it was really surreal. Like I was really a bit emotional after it, because we won top Street Machine sedan, I think. For that year group.
Palazzo was with you that
no, he's the year after.
That's right. Yep.
So that was good. And then the Street Machine, that article came straight after, I think. Mm-hmm. The week me and Jordan shot it, I think, on the Monday. So
I hope Jordan doesn't mind. We'll use these photos in our video.
No, that's right.
There you go, Jordan. If you're listening, Johnny said it was all right.
So how long did it take Jordan to shoot?
Oh, don't get me started with his time frames. I bring I bring a packed lunch now. I just bring food and drink because I know it's going to be a long night.
I'm telling you now, it's a running joke with the staff of Street Machine how long it takes him to shoot a car.
We joke because I get him to come and do shoots in the shop now, and we literally joke about, okay, what time we're going to finish. I'm saying, man, I want to be about this time, and it's like we're about 5 minutes away from that. It's like one more. It's like, man.
He's very good at what he does. There's no other Jordan Least, let me tell you. Hey, we're going to take a short break here, and we'll be back with more from Johnny right after the break. Okay, episode 111 of the Talk and Power podcast. We've got Johnny Ielati in the studio, Todd Brinkworth and Simon Gonzo Travellini. Johnny, talk us through, I guess, the today, the now, the repercussions of battling cancer. When you and I caught up not that long ago to talk about this podcast, I think it was last year you had a 2 weeks battle with chickenpox.
Yep.
Tell us some of the repercussions of someone that has had cancer when they do get sick, and some of the things that you have to go through and being vigilant of in terms of, you know, white blood cell counts and those sorts of things.
Yeah, this is always hard to explain to people because they think it's always you've done it and it's sort of over. And when you get sick, it's like, yeah, okay, well, I had a cold or I had the chicken pox too. It's, you know, it's no big deal, but it's different. It's different. Everything's different. And in that instance, when I had the chicken pox, the kids obviously had it a couple of weeks before me, and they all had like 1 or 2 spots, and then they were like back at school within whatever the allowed time was, like 3 days or whatever the period was. And I was thinking, and then I looked down and I said, oh, I've got a couple of spots. I said, oh, it's all right, I'll be back, you know, at work a couple of days, no problem. And it ended up being 2 weeks. And I was in hospital for like 2 nights because,
wow.
It knocked me for 6. And obviously with that, the doctor goes, do some blood tests. And it's like, okay. And then the chickenpox was that bad, they were in my throat and my mouth. So obviously having operation in there and scar tissue damage and stuff like that, you start getting all these different feelings. It's like, and I've had them before and I sort of know what's wrong and what's right now, like what I can deal with and what sort of, okay, I better get that checked. And this one was, yeah, man, that doesn't seem right. Like these are the weirdest things that I've felt. So, and the blood tests were obviously pointing to, you know, low white blood cell count, which is obviously a sign of cancer as well. So, you know, when you tell your wife, you know, the needle goes on the limiter goes pretty high, pretty quick, and everyone starts panicking and thinking, oh, okay, here we go, it's back and that. And yeah, so that's, and I'll probably deal with something like that once a year, because what happens now, obviously with the radiotherapy, all my teeth, I have problems with all my teeth because of the gum line receding and stuff from the radiotherapy. It's just part and parcel of the operation. There's nothing you can do about it. So I think, and because of the operation, I only eat on my left-hand side, not my right. So, and I've really only got, because I've got teeth missing already, I've only got like one tooth that I eat on that side, and that I got an infection in that last year. So that was another, you know, panic station thing. We didn't know it was an infection. It was just like the whole side of my face was swollen, and you know, back to the dentist. Yes, it's an infection. Okay, no worries. And then get that tooth, had a root canal. I think I spent $9,000 just on that tooth, just to save it, because I can't have teeth pulled out either because of the radiotherapy. I need to the recovery is not the same. So to have a tooth pulled out, I need to go into a hyperbaric chamber before and after the operation, just for the healing process.
Yeah, okay.
So I've got to try and save what I've got to avoid that, because it's not like you can go to a hyperbaric chamber in your house or around the corner.
Yeah.
And it's like a 12-week thing, you know, depending on the severity of it. So like eating's a problem. Obviously now my voice is probably starting to sound a bit different as well. Obviously the more tired I am, the worse my voice sounds. And chewing, obviously the right side of my jaw always swells up if I'm eating something, like a steak or anything like that. And people go, "Oh, why do you take so long to eat?" Like I literally just don't eat steak because by the time I even get to a quarter of it would be cold because I just can't put it down. Like, I can't chew it enough to get it to get it down. So there's all those sort of things that come on. And obviously there's everything plays on your mind. So it's like everything that's it can be the smallest thing. And about a year or two after, you used to always worry, and my surgeon always just said, "Look, just come back, we check it, And then I probably got comfortable for about, it's been 15 years now, so I probably got comfortable for about, probably about 10, so it's probably about 10 years now I've been comfortable with it. And there's probably just isolated instances every year now where something just might pop up and just go, no, that's not right. But my specialist is good. He goes, just come in. He chucks a camera down my throat. He has a quick look. Yep, you're all good. This one here was probably one of the biggest scares I've had since I've had it. So we did a PET scan he goes, look, let's just do one. Just to go, we'll start clean slate when everything's all good. So we did that, and obviously came back all clear, which is it's good to see. I do have another issue I have to deal with, but that's just it's part and parcel with the treatment and the radiotherapy and the operation itself. So, but that's what do you do? If it was when I had my operation, if it was only about 3 years earlier, the operation didn't even exist. So who knows what would have happened.
Let's have a look back. I mean, in this podcast we've looked back quite extensively, but let's have a look forward. I mean, you have an amazing studio where I've wrote in the notes. I reckon neurosurgeons could operate in your workshop.
Definitely, there was an ad years ago of a guy eating pasta off the floor, and they could have filmed it there because it's immaculate, that place.
But you detail cars instead. Tell us what are some of the plans for Benzene and yourself, and any additions to the fleet, and just give us a bit of a rundown on.
As obviously we're always looking to better the place. There's always something new that we can do, and I've got a couple of plans for the workshop itself. Obviously, the floor gets redone probably every couple of years. We'll probably do it after the event this year. It was looking a bit worn out, and I want to put a belly lift in there as well, scissor lift, and we've got probably a new lighting structure. I like to make things. I do things not because so they look good. I do things to be more efficient, and if I can make the business more me and the business more efficient, then it's better for my customers. So so I've got I've always got plans of what I'm going to do next at the shop, and maybe even look into another shop as well. We might have the opportunity to buy another shop and to maybe expand it into other areas as well. So that thing. In regards to the cars, I just bought myself a Mercedes.
Yeah, I saw that out there. Yes,
old school Mercedes, which I quite like.
Don't LS swap it, please. Don't LS swap.
I like a little 2.3 in it, so it's good. It drives so good. I can't believe it, eh? But I'm going to build a 34 coupe. That's my next big thing. We've actually bought the body, and the chassis is getting built. Hopefully, as we speak. But,
wow.
Yeah. So, my wife's always wanted to do a coupe, and with the price of buying these Aussie cars these days is I'm trying to find the right one, and it's just not going to happen. So at least with this thing we can plan it a bit, budget for it, and just make it our own.
I mean, you've been in it a very long time. I just wanted your lens on something here. You put on this amazing fundraiser. Before I ask this question, just tell us a bit about the fundraiser you do every year. Tell us a bit about that, and then I'll ask you my question.
Yeah, well, since I've had cancer, I've always tried to do something every year to give back to the Cancer Council, And I think some of the things you quoted me on, I did it for the cancer support. We actually did a photo thing for them. So we do it every year. And it started off with just my wife, because we thought it's a morning tea, it's a girly thing. And she used to do it with all her girlfriends and have a morning tea. And then we did it at the soccer club, and we just sort of went just massive with it and just invited everyone to the club. And then we got into the workshop, and I thought, how can we incorporate, the shop and because it all ties in, the business, it all ties into the charity. And so we run it with the biggest morning tea. So obviously it's the Cancer Council's official biggest morning tea. And instead of just having people just rock up and have some cake and coffee, I thought, well, why can't we just put some cars on display and give something to people to look at and have a chat, and and some of the guys aren't exposed to that in the car scene, that side of the charity as well. So it gets them involved, and it just keeps getting bigger and better every year. Like everyone wants to contribute to that sort of event, and so yeah.
No, it's a magnificent event you put on. That brings me to my next question. Have you ever had the desire to put the promoter's hat on? Because you've been going to these sorts of things for a long time. Yeah,
I don't. That's a lot of work. It's something that maybe I'd like to do down the track. I love the events. I love the MotorX events as well over East. I'd love to get involved into some of that, but I'd only get involved if I can dedicate my time properly to it. Like between work, the kids, and all that sort of stuff, there's not much left. And you need a lot of time to execute those events properly. So, and I'd like to get into the judging scene as well. Down the track, so maybe I can incorporate, either one of them at some point. But maybe when the kids get a bit
listen,
older.
I don't know about that. You don't own a shop that modifies cars, so you wouldn't be able to judge your cars higher than everyone else's. It doesn't make any sense. You'd be impartial. We couldn't have that in the judging in Western Australia.
I'd just judge how much dust is on the car.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, I'm just telling it how I see it.
Shout out to some of the judges, I think, listen to this podcast. Anyway, hello to the judges.
I know some of the ex-judges listen to this podcast.
They do, yeah. Shout out to everyone there that's listening. Hey, Johnny, you've spoken about your amazing family. Is anyone else you need to mention in this podcast? Anyone in the sort of medical world as well?
It sounds like your specialist is the crew chief.
Yeah. I was going to say, my specialist, Dr. Fisher, he's awesome. He's probably the main guy that I go see, when things go to crap, I suppose. So, and he's always been, when we did the magazine, the car shoot and that, I took him the magazine. I said, look at this, and I always thank him for everything he does. He's just they're the real heroes. They're saving people's lives. So he's a champion.
No, certainly. Is he a car guy?
No. I'll have to send him the link. He might listen to it.
Okay.
He loves the magazine. He loves the car and that. So
that's good. That's awesome.
It's funny when we go. It's when you go there. It's like your family with the secretaries and that. And they go, what are you doing here? It's you've got to, And then when I leave, it's I hope I don't see her again.
It's true, but isn't it? But they do a magnificent job. All the specialists and oncologists. Correct? Is that the right terminology?
Mine is an ENT. So I had an oncologist, but the ENT, ear, nose and throat specialist. He's the guy who did the work. Yeah.
And he performed that surgery as
So,
well.
well, I had him, a plastic surgeon, and an oncologist. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
really, so the plastic surgeon, the guy's pretty cool too. To do what they do is just
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Johnny, where can we contact you? If someone wants to... You got a Facebook page? Benzene Detailing?
Obviously Benzene's Detailing. The website benzenesdetailing.com.au. Yeah,
On Facebook, I know, and Instagram as well. I know
Instagram. We've got the Instagram.
all your work's on there. I see it all the time.
Yep.
I see photos scrolling through every day. You're doing pretty much something on
Yeah,
there.
I'll try to. Yeah, sometimes it gets a bit hard, but yeah,
Yep,
we try
yep.
to put something up, especially if it's cool. We try to get up there.
Yep. Okay.
We're doing too many 200 series these days, so it's not much to show.
Too many Toyota
200 series,
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Even when I come and saw you, you had one there.
Nick's favourite is the 300 series.
Not. It is well, we can do it. That's for another episode.
Did they actually go off road?
Not the ones I do.
And on that bombshell,
Hey, look, Johnny. We really appreciate you coming in for this podcast. It was a special podcast. It was one you said to me. You know, we love doing the morning tea. We absolutely love it. It's and we love getting down there. It's a lot of fun. I know Todd enjoys it as well.
Yeah.
And Simon, he's hoping to bring the. No, you can't, can you? Sorry.
No.
I may have overpromised there.
no.
Sorry.
On that note, so we got some new rims because I've got the drag radials on the rears. I've got some new rims for the rear, and the colours slightly different. And yeah, we're sending them the old ones back to get reconditioned. We tried to organise to get it done locally, but it was just too much of a price difference between getting actual Simmons to do them, which I was a bit surprised, but
okay.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like once you got the new ones, the old ones look like crap. So
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm a bit devastated because I've been waiting so long for those rears, and it is what it is.
To change the size of the rears.
Yeah, I've gone. So I've left 15 6s on the front, and I've got 18 10s for the rear. I really want to exaggerate
The rake.
that. Yeah, the rake. Yeah, it was already exaggerated, but I want to really. I want it to look like it's a cartoon.
Yeah, cool.
Because that's kind
It's
of.
always the way it's known. That
Yeah.
car's been known as.
Yeah.
And so the front tyres were another drama. I don't want to. I don't want to go into who, what, how, when, and where, but basically, we had 4 tyres destroyed getting them on and off the rims, and I want to leave once the tyres are on the front. I want to leave them on the front, so I had to get the right speed rating, and to get that size, I couldn't get any in Australia, so I had to bring a set in from the US. It's just 15s are a thing of the past now, so. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm spewing. I was. You can ask Nick. I was spewing that I missed the get together there in Balcatta, and I was looking forward to it. And I thought I'm going to get the rears, and then when I put them next to the other ones, I went, it's a different colour, and anyway.
But the good news is you will be ready by All Ford Day.
Fingers crossed. If I don't blow it up, crash it,
You'll be ready by All Ford.
Oh, God.
You better, and we need to shout out to the All Ford Day committee, Paul Lloyd in particular. They're having us along for the All Ford Day.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it last year, and I'm looking forward to it even more this year. So
Well, they've given us a reasonable size space to bring our rides, so
are we going to do a fire up?
no. that's a no. But
Yes.
we'll have the BA there, we'll have the XY there, we'll have my XW there, And Johnny, you're more than welcome to bring.
Yeah, well, I'll be entering it anyway, so if you want it there, you can be more than happy to have it.
We've got the all 4-day committee have given us big sites, so we can fill that right up.
No
so
problem.
yeah, more than I would love to have.
I reckon we could just fill it up with X, Y's, and W's, to be honest.
Yeah, you can take Dad's car as well if you want it.
Yeah, we'll bring Shaken as well. That's one thing we didn't mention. Your dad's XY GT as well, Shaken. That's been around. How long has that been around for?
The car itself?
Yeah, the car itself. He's had that.
So that started the same as mine. That was an XY Fairmont 6-cylinder, and we started that in about 1988, I think.
I was going to say, I remember that.
Yeah. So that's gone through a couple of rebuilds as well. So
Yeah.
motor and getting the motor, engine bay cleanups and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll try and get Shaken down there as well. So yeah, I think we can. We can just about have a full, except for the BA, have a full suite of XWs and XYs. But anyway, yeah, we're looking forward to All Ford Day, and we'd love to have you there as well, Johnny. It's on the 3rd of October 2021, Still Blue Oval, Bassendean. We're really looking forward to that. We're going to have a bit of a marquee there, and we'll have the podcast studio there going, and we're really looking forward to it. And we're also looking forward to the Australia's biggest morning tea. Where can people donate? Will there be a link on the...
Well, I can give you the link if you want to add it to this. Yeah.
Yep.
Look, I mean, we obviously we're trying to keep numbers to a minimum, but if anyone really wants to come down, then maybe they should just get in contact with you and the page and say, look, they really want to come down, and we can see if we can fit them in.
Yep, no worries. And yeah, we'll and make a donation to the Cancer Council biggest morning tea. Looking forward to it. Well, guys, that's a full episode. I don't know if you realise that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've gone a full. You were concerned. You said to me, I don't know, Nick. I don't think we'll do a whole. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe.
I
You said,
yeah.
10 minutes. I said, nah.
Just saying small.
I said, I'm telling you now. Don't worry. Once you start, you won't stop. And look, here we are. We're an hour and 15 minutes. So
Nick is the Andrew Denton of the
I don't know
car
about
world.
that. I don't know about that, but anyway,
Sorry, I don't want to insult you.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I think. Look, I mean, I know once you start talking, I like talking about cars, and I like talking about people's journey, not with just their cars, but in life, and how the car influenced them or their particular car. I don't care whether it's an XY, it's whatever it may be, an Evo, whatever it may be. It's cars have an influence in our lives, and car people, it's in our DNA. It's in our DNA. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. So, yep. Johnny, thanks for joining us. Todd, thanks for coming in.
worries.
Thank you.
Simon, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure, Nick.
We're going to get stuck into those cannolis now, and Richie. Anyone's looking for a good cannoli, head down to Richie's Sterling IGA. Does magnificent cannolis. Richie, I want some freebies now. All right, guys, thanks for coming in. Thanks for tuning in.
Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.